Hello and welcome to another live coaching. I am in Spain. I am in San Sebastian in the north of Spain. So I'm not at home. I am broadcasting from the Airbnb. And so we're on the go. It's a little bit makeshift studio. Hopefully everything works. You guys can hear me okay and everything goes fine. Because I'm on the go, it'll be a little bit of a shorter live stream today. I'll get to the Facebook content and we'll go through it. Thank you for joining. As always, let us know if you sailed this week. And if you did, how was it? Where did you sail? Hey, Jorg, how's it going? Yeah, so I've been traveling and I'm on the road. I'm in San Sebastian at the moment. And then next week, I go up to France, and a good friend of mine is getting married in Bordeaux, where I'll be for the wedding. And then I go over to Marseille, where I meet with the Taboo guys before going up to Denmark uh, in the beginning of September for the master classes that are happening there. Jorg, Axel, Dom Dom, great to see you guys. All right, like I said, I'm on sort of holiday with some friends and traveling. So I'm just going to jump right into the coaching group. If you have any tips for San Sebastian, let me know. We've been just sort of exploring the town and a little bit the areas around and surfing. We've been surfing, not windsurfing, but surfing, and it's been okay. The beach breaks, it's been fun. I mean, not good ways, but fun. We had fun. Hans is here in the chat. Oh, Goose and John. Hello, everyone. All right, guys. I'm just gonna jump right in to the coaching to the Facebook. So let's just get into it. All right. Get my windows organized. Hey, Christoph. All right. So here we are, coaching group. Bruno, it's a little bit far away, but what I love about this video vertically is far away. This means it's someone filming from the beach with a phone, and it just shows how easy it is to get footage. Just get a friend with their phone and get a little bit of footage. You don't have to have the perfect setup. A little bit of footage goes a long way to seeing yourself. Yeah. So this is a nicely ridden wave. He gets 2 turns here. Looks light, looks very light. Manages to get the first turn, sort of on the open face, and then comes up and gets a high 5 on this section that's coming at him, but he still wants more speed. So how do you get more speed? Well, you can see that Bruno's pumping. Pumping is one of the best ways to get more speed. So Bruno, you're already on the right track. Pumping, if you're not comfortable pumping, that is a skill to work on. Pumping is not just for racers, it's not just for slalom sailors, it is an essential wave sailing skill. Pumping onto waves and then also pumping up to speed on the wave. One of the key things to remember when you're pumping is it's not just about pumping the sail, but also about pumping the board and the fins. So you're actually pushing down with your legs on the board as well as pushing the sail forward and pulling it back to create more wind. Now, Bruno, we can't see that much because this is far away, but from what I can see, it looks pretty good. And the only thing I'll add, which will make a difference, is to stay higher on the wave. So when you're pumping on the wave to get speed, you want to stay on the top half or even the top quarter, the top 25% of the wave. Then you pick up more power from the wave, and that allows you to generate more speed before you drop in and go for your turn. So even though you are pumping and you're doing a lot right, you're starting in the middle of the wave and you're sort of pumping into the bottom of the wave. And what you want to do is really stay high on the wave. So here you did that pump sort of on the bottom of the wave, or at least below the halfway point. You want to do it high on the wave, stay in the top quarter of the wave, and that will help you generate more speed. All right, I'm going to check out the chat because it looks like we got some people showing up. Hello, Rasmus and Max. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. I was so happy to see you guys and be going through the Facebook group. Max brought up the situation on Maui. Yeah, Maui is devastated. It feels really strange to not be there, not have a full understanding of exactly what's going on. I have to get it from friends, uh, Instagram, and the news, and just sort of create a picture for myself of what is happening. And what is happening is not good. The fire was devastating. Where we are in on Maui in Haiku is not affected. It's the other side of the island, but Lahaina was destroyed, and there was a lot of damage. A lot of people lost everything, and yeah, it's really really sad. I'm going to put together a list of places that people can donate to. I posted some on my Instagram that I know are legit and are going to definitely go to helping people. But I'm going to do a few more. So if you guys want to get involved, I'll yeah, post some options. But otherwise, it seems like the community is really coming together on Maui, and everyone is helping each other out. But yeah, it's horrible. It's really not good. All right, let's get back to the coaching. Rasmus, hello. Ragnar, 13 days, 25 sessions in Pozo. Awesome. Max, 4-2 session. Greg, um, nice. Mert, hello. Axel, nice, nice, nice. Good progress with the forward loop. Happy to see it. All right, I'm going to get back to the Facebook group. All right, next up, we have a post from Jakob. So he is referencing last week's discussion, which you can find on Facebook and on YouTube, on my YouTube channel in the past live streams, all of the past live streams. Well, I guess not all of them, but all of them since I started posting them on YouTube are there. And so his question, so he's referencing last week where I was talking about back loop versus push loop. And he says, when do you decide one or the other? The ramp and the initial movement is the same for the two loops. So do you sort of feel what this is going to be once you're airborne? Or do you know what you want to do when you hit the ramp? And then he has a video of himself sending a solid push loop attempt, no hand push loop. Awesome, awesome, awesome. This was uh, when we were all together up in Denmark. And so, Jakob, you are a professor. So, like any good student or professor, I'm going to challenge actually the premise of the question. And the initial movement is not the same for the two loops. The push loop and the back loop have a very different initial movement and even slightly different ramps. So, like this ramp that you're taking off of in the video isn't very steep, which lends itself to being more of a push loop ramp. So you can do push loops off less steep ramps than back loops. Now, if it's windier, so the more wind you have, the more you can use just the wind to do a back loop. And second, the push loop is really a whip, and you go into that rotation. So I've got some videos, and I'll pull them up right now. Nice. Facebook user had some fun in Sao Torpes. Nice. 2.5 meters. Awesome. All right. So this is a back loop. This is me back looping in Madagascar. Watch how static my body is. So let's just go through this kind of slow. So steep ramp, static body. I'm just traveling straight up, straight up. The sail is tucked back. I'm going straight up. And then at the apex, I look over the shoulder, and I've traveled really up into the wind and then sail down the other way towards the landing. All right, so you've got that in your head, right? Now let's load up the push loops. Okay, so here are the push loops. Go back. So coming up to the ramp, as soon as I'm going off the ramp, I'm already throwing the rotation. So I'm not sailing up at all. I'm already sort of throwing the rotation. The board is already going up into the wind. And then by the time I'm at the apex, the apex is somewhere here. I'm already pretty rotated. push through, catch it. Let's watch another one. Here's one from a different angle. But again, you can see as soon as I've taken off, I'm going into that rotation. Here's another angle. And again, you can see this ramp isn't very steep. You don't need such a steep ramp for the push loops. And again, as soon as I take off, I'm already really throwing this rotation, really using my body to do the rotation. So a key difference is that the rotation for the push loop comes from the body, and the rotation for the back loop comes from the sail. So the rotation for the push loop comes from the body, and the rotation for the back loop comes from the sail. So again, let's watch the back loop again. You can see, again, really calm with the body, really calm with the body. And the sail, it's all going just straight up, and then at the apex, steering around. And I'm looking with my head, so there is a body component, but a lot is happening with the sail. The sail pushes forward, sheeting in. I'm just steering towards this landing spot. So the back loop is really not much of a rotation. The push loop feels like a spin. It feels like a somersault. The back loop doesn't. The back loop feels like you just go up and you fall down on the other side. So they feel really, really different, and the takeoff is different. The intention is different, and even the ramp can be different. In terms of like the direction into the wind, I don't like doing my push loops as upwind as I do my back loops, but I notice that some people do their push loops very into the wind. But in general, I think I go a little bit more downwind for the push loops. They are very different jumps, and understanding that difference can really help you land back loops or push loops, because you know that, okay, the back loop doesn't feel like a spin. It doesn't feel like a somersault. You literally just sit. Let's watch that video again. You literally just sail up straight into the air, and then fall down the other way. It's not a flip. It's not a spin. It's like you just go up into the wind, and then just fall down the other way. It's a really calm movement. It feels more like doing a 180 than a 360. It's a very small, subtle movement. The push loop is not subtle. You're throwing your body, trying to get, like, a key part of the push loop is, so you can see, like, my head is already starting to throw as I'm going off the ramp, right? And a key part of the push loop is you're getting that body back, and then you're pulling the sail underneath the body or rotating the body on top of the sail. Those two things are happening at the same time. And then pushing that sail forward to catch the rotation. Here's another one from me from the other angle. You can see just how much is happening, right? There's so much happening with the body and the sail. It's a really active move. There's a lot of force. There's a lot of things going on. Whereas the back loop, it really just sailing up and coming down the other way. There's the push loop from a different angle. Hey, Jeff. Jeff had his best session in years. Awesome. Gym work is making a big difference. Awesome, awesome. So that is, I think, all we're going to talk about with the back loops and the push loops. We can come back to that topic, though. It's a very interesting topic. All right. Caro is working on her forward loop. She's worried they're still a little bit too screwy, but they look solid. Caro has been on the forward journey for years, and I love the progress that she's making. And she's following a process where she's not having to overcome big fear cliffs. She's not having to jump off big fear cliffs. She's going a step at a time, and it's awesome. I think the next step is not jumping off of whitewaters. Caro, I think almost every video I see or photo sequence I see, you're jumping off of the whitewaters. I want to see you jump off an open face wave. Whitewaters don't allow you to push off of them because they're aerated, and so you can't get the same kind of push or height. And a nice unbroken wave face will give you a much better ramp and a much better experience. So something where you can it'll allow you to get more height more easily, And then also other nice thing about a wave is it has more space behind it, right? Because if this is the front of the wave, you also have the space on the back of the wave to fall into. So jumping off of an unbreaking wave also gives you more space on the other side. And so that's really, I think, the next step. And you're ready. These rotations look great. The next step is just doing it not off of a whitewater wave. So just a wave that is unbroken. Yeah, and that will help you go a little bit less in this position as well. You'll be a little bit more over the gear. So trying to stay a little bit more upright. All right, so you're working on your frontside 360s. Cool. These look good. This looks good. This is really coming along. Wow, Caro, this is a huge step from the last ones that we saw. Your positioning here, like your body and everything, is what you want to be doing. Now, I don't know if there's something I'm missing because we don't have the video, but from what I see here, your body positioning is working. Keep this up. Now, your speed, there might be something that we're not able to see in the photos. Maybe you need more speed. But the biggest thing that I see, and this is a huge thing with the 360s, is the placement on the wave. And this, where you're doing it, you're never going to land a 360 back inside the wave in this section. The place where you want to do it, I mean, there might not even be a section on this wave. Looks like the wave behind has a better section for it. But in general, you don't want to be doing the movement into the section, but rather with the section. So instead of coming into the section over here, you want to be on this side of the whitewater. And this whitewater is not going to have enough power to push you around. The wave behind looks like it's going to set up to have a bit more power. And that will be a wave that will be able to push you around back inside the wave. So my takeaway, again, I can't see everything because it's photos instead of video, but my takeaway is it looks like, Caro, you're nailing the body position right on. I'm proud of you. Good job. Now we got to work on your position on the wave. And the 360 is a move where wave position is critical. If you're not on the right position, you're not going to make it. And it's not something that you can really force or get around. You have to be in the right position. You need to be in a place where the wave is going to throw, the lip is going to throw, and that's going to help push you back in. And also you want to do it where you're going with the wave rather than against the wave. And so what I mean by that is instead of sailing into the section like this, you want to sail around the section and hit this part with a little bit of unbroken wave downwind of you. But awesome progress. All right, we're already on new posts. All right, let's go through here. All right, so Olaf asking about my family. My family is okay. Again, Haiku is the other side of the island from Lahaina, but the whole island is devastated, and yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And it feels so weird not being on Maui, not being able to help. If I was there, yeah, I wish I could be there right now to help in some way. There are some places to give money to, and again, I'm gonna post some more. I posted already some on Instagram, but I'll do more later because there are a few other places that have popped up. The Hawaii Community Foundation is, I think, the one I posted on Instagram, and they're a solid foundation, and they have a Maui Strong Fund specifically for this. All right, next up, we have a post from Jan Thomas about going vertical. So I like this post. This inspires a lot of discussion. So Jan Thomas is asking, is going vertical overrated? You see a lot of pros and they're not going vertical. So does that mean that the idea of going vertical is just hype? So the short answer is no. Going vertical is 100% not hype. So what is going vertical? So going vertical means when you're riding a wave, that your bottom turn is, if you think of a clock, that you're ending the bottom turn at 12 o'clock with the nose pointing to 12 o'clock. And it's not hype. It's, in fact, it's not a means either. It's an end. So a vertical bottom turn is a goal, not just a means to something else. Turns on a wave are evaluated by how dynamic they are, and a more dynamic radical turn is a turn that does more of a circle, more of a circle. So if you do a bottom turn that's a full U and then hit the lip and come all the way back around again, you're doing a lot more change of direction of the board. And so just by definition, it's more radical and more dynamic. And so that looks better, scores better, and feels better. And if you can do that on the rail and do your bottom turn on the rail the whole time to come up to the lip, that's really hard and it feels really good. And then it's also harder. So there's maybe a sentiment here that it makes things easier. Going vertical is harder. It makes the timing more difficult because your timing then has to be perfect. Whereas if you're just sailing down the wave, sailing down the line, and you have a more down the line approach with your bottom turn, it's not that hard to adjust. So your timing doesn't matter as much, which is why I recommend to so many people on the coaching sessions, looking for those corner pocket sections. So those sections that are coming towards you. Those are easy sections to hit. You can do a long bottom turn. You don't have to do a vertical bottom turn, and you can get a nice off the lip. And so for a lot of sailors, those are sections that you want to be looking for because they provide the opportunity to get a good off the lip without having to worry about timing or these other things. Now, that is not a vertical approach. That's the opposite of a vertical approach. So a vertical approach is more difficult when it comes to timing. And then it's also scarier because when you're coming sideways at the lip, again, you can kind of adjust. And again, you're coming sideways, whereas vertical, you're coming up underneath it. So vertical is definitely more scary. It's more challenging. It's harder, and it's more radical. So a vertical approach, a vertical turning style is a end. It's the goal. So it's not like a means to something that could be overrated or hype, or there's a different way to do it. It is the goal. You're doing then more radical turns, more complete turns. There's more change of direction. It's harder. That means that you're going to be on the rail for a longer time and a longer turn doing carving, right? So going vertical, definitely not hype. It is a goal. I'm going to respond to this and write it out because I think it's interesting. But yeah, definitely going vertical is a goal. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go vertical, and there are ways to ride waves without going vertical. Quad boards make it more difficult to go vertical. They want to sort of roll onto the cutback rail sooner. But definitely not hype. Definitely not hype. All right, next up, we've got this post. It's a video from Jan about the Baltic Sea. Cool. Thank you for sharing. Oh, and that's it for the week. Nice. All right. I am going to call it a day. If you want to improve your tax, you can sign up for my tax course. It is my.windsurfingmasterclass.com, and then you can find the course is pretty easy to find from there. Here, I'll remove this on the top, and then you should be able to see. Yeah, so you can see the URL up here for the course. But if you just go to my Windsurfing Masterclass, my.windsurfingmasterclass.com, you can go to the Fast Tack course. And the idea is that with just 10 minutes a day over 4 weeks, you can dramatically improve your tax. I was talking to someone the other day who went from 3 out of 10 to 7 out of 10 tax after doing the course after just a few weeks. So I'm pretty stoked with the responses and how effective it is. So if you want to improve your tax, it's a good way to do it. All right, like I said, I'm traveling, I'm on the road, I'm with friends in San Sebastian. So I'm going to get back to them, call it a day for the live stream. Take care, everyone. I hope you have a good week. I hope it's windy, and I hope that you get some footage, photos, or questions to post in the Facebook group. I'll see you next week, Sunday. Just a quick recap, because there's two conceptual points that we covered today. The back loop and the push loop are very different in their setup. Back loop, very little movement, go straight up, come back down. Push loop feels like more of a spin or a flip, where you're doing a lot of movement right off the ramp. Going vertical, definitely not hype. All right, guys, have a good week. Take care. Aloha.